who's the senior fellow at the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Centre. He joins us live from Washington, D.C. A very warm welcome to Al Jazeera. So Israel clearly trying to seize the initiative here when it comes to shoring up its security. But when it comes to how Israel is viewing developments in Syria and the preeminence of HTS in the collapse of the Assad regime, is it now a case of my enemy's enemy is my possible friend?
Very tentative friend. I would say that a lot of background conversations need to occur. And I was a little bit surprised that Israel didn't emphasize that they are welcoming a change of power in Damascus. Because after all, the bridge that Syria provided for Iran to supply Hezbollah in Lebanon and the Iranian presence in Syria are now gone. And Israel and the predecessor of HTS were cooperating in a humanitarian sphere, with Israel providing medical assistance to hundreds of fighters of Syrian resistance to Assad before. So I would think that both with the mediation of Qatar and the Druze community, the Druze are a minority living in Lebanon, Israel, and Syria, there are contacts and discussions. And Israel is waiting and seeing who will emerge victorious in Damascus, or if Syria is able to maintain a semblance of coherence and peace, or it will deteriorate in more civil war, which I'm afraid it might, going forward.
Israel may have been providing humanitarian support to these opposition forces in southern Syria earlier on, but this was obviously, prior to the war in Gaza. I mean, surely Israel must be factoring in sentiment across the entire Middle East against the war in Gaza and the Netanyahu's government's treatment of Palestinians. I mean, how does it now navigate a potentially critical, if not hostile, nation to the north?
The nation to the north, if there is a nation, is going to be busy with its own tragic history. Syria, after all, was created by the two hegemons after the end of World War I, the British Empire and the French Empire. It was essentially given to the French as a consolation prize because the leading power that defeated the Ottoman Turkey, the Ottoman Empire, was the British Empire. And since its capture by the French, Syria did not know peace. First, the French were killing Arabs in Syria, and then Arabs were killing Arabs in Syria, as well as the Kurdish minority and others. So I hope and pray that Syria will experience peace finally, so that the Sunni majority is in power, because before that, it was either the French or the Assad family, who are Alawites, right, another minority rule. And Israel needs to worry that the arsenal of the Russia-supplied weapons will not fall into the wrong hands. We still know that ISIS, we see that ISIS is flying its flag in Latakia and elsewhere in Syria, and chemical weapons, other weapons of mass destruction, surface-to-surface rockets, right, and aircraft should not fall into the hands of these jihadi forces.
I'm keen to put another question to you as we're running out of time, but we have seen, of course, Israel take control of this Golan Heights buffer zone, established back in 1974 under that ceasefire agreement between Israel and Syria at the time. I mean, the US National Security Advisor a little bit earlier on seemed to suggest Israel would withdraw from that area pretty soon. I mean, what conditions would need to be met first for Israel to do that, do you think?
As I suggested, there must be contacts between HTS-led coalition in Damascus and the Israelis, with clear understanding what's going to happen going forward. Both Israel and HTS are elated that both the Iranians and the Ba'ath Assad horrible dictatorship are defeated, if they have an understanding, I'm pretty sure, and the Israeli government said that, they will pull out of that DMZ, demilitarized zone, between the Golan Heights and Damascus.
All right, Ariel Cohen, Senior Fellow at the Atlantic Council's Eurasia Centre. Good to hear your thoughts and analysis. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.